I, Jabulani Mukoko, do take oath and swear that the evidence that I will give is the truth, nothing else but the truth. So help me God.
Mr. Mukoko, you are aware of why you are here. First of all, I'll remind you again that you are the Chief Security Officer of Mbada Diamonds. When you appeared before us, the oral evidence you gave was pertaining to take over all the mines by the police in which troops were deployed. As such, I will give you the floor to give us a report on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I guess I will need to go to repeat the same report that I gave last time because the circumstances are still the same. What happened is, like I said, on Monday, it was on the 22nd of February 2016, maybe around probably between 11 and 12 o'clock, somewhere there, when I got reports of a convoy of police officers that had approached our main gate and was requesting entry into the concession. And according to the setup that we had, every movement into the concession had to be cleared just to make sure that we allow people with business to do inside. And if it's the police, they have a constitutional duty to get into any place, but obviously that has to be communicated, and but on this particular day, when I got the message, the minute I tried to drive towards the main gate, I then met the convoy before I got to the main gate because they had already forced their way through, dispossessed the guards.
I think if you just hold on there. Members were not in chanting African. We will guide the different parties who should respond to this so that when we come to responding, this mainly is for the Commissioner General, former Minister of Home Affairs, Petroleum, the former Minister of Mines, Honorable Chitakwa, the Permanent Secretary for Home Affairs, who is equally here. So you must just take note of that so that when we get to that point, you respond.
Anyway, Honorable Chair, let me continue. When I met this convoy, I stopped my motor car before getting to where the convoy was, and immediately the convoy stopped. A number of police officers disembarked from the trucks and the bus and proceeded towards me. Then, as soon as they got to where I was...
Can you tell us the thing number? How many police officers what number can you give us?
The number, Honorable Chair, was around 200. They were around 200. The majority of them were armed with AK rifles. So when they approached me, there was people in civilian clothes who identified themselves as Minister of Mines officials. And I still recall one by the name Benaya Mabodza. And amongst the police officers, I realized the most senior was a superintendent, a lady. So as soon as they got to me, the guys in civilian cloth demanded that I be searched. And when I requested as to why am I being searched, I was just told by the uniformed policeman that you just have to submit because we're taking instructions from the Minister of Mines. When they say you have to be searched, you have to be searched. I objected to that, but then for the sake of progress, I submitted and then I was searched. My communication radio was taken away, but then when they demanded to check my cell phone, I refused to give them because that's my own personal property. Then the next thing I was told that we've come to take over the mine. And so I went ahead and demanded documentation that authorizes them to come and take over the mine, because I didn't know anything about it. I was told that there were no documents to be given. These are orders from the minister. So I then phoned the Mbada head office to find out if this is true. I was informed that there is nothing like that. As far as Mbada was concerned, the minister had given the company 90 days to remove its equipment. That is that's the communication I got from Mbada head office. So the fact that the police were there to take over together with the Minister of Mines was something new to the company. Then the next demand from the police and the mines officials was, can you please switch off the CCTV, hand over the keys to the vault, switch off your communication radios, and check every employee from outside the concession, from within the concession, take them out, including the guards. So at this point, I indicated that if we are to check out the guards and switch off the CCTV, literally we'll be circumventing our own security systems. And in any case, if something is to happen, no one will be able to manage the situation. And then I also pointed out that even by switching off the communication system, the police having large numbers on the scene, even if they have to deploy the wall concession, there was no way they were going to coordinate the operation properly. There was unique communication to have a coordinated operation. But again, no one seemed to take it of that. As we're talking, instructions were given to the police to go to the control room and switch off the CCTV and all the communication network. I think at this point, Honorable Chair, I want to stress that the way the security system was conducted at Mbada was we had a lot of CCTV coverage, more than 100 cameras covering the whole concession, covering the critical points that were identified. And this was backed up by more than 100 dogs and about 200 security guards, together with reaction teams. And you had a backup of about 10 armed special tactics troop members from the target security. So you'll appreciate that this kind of setup to secure that concession was actually adequate. But now if we are to just cripple everything and leave it in the hands of 200 policemen without communication, without electronic surveillance equipment to see what's happening, automatically the whole security is destroyed. Everything then becomes, is then at the risk of theft or vandalism. So anyway, the police were given instructions, they went ahead, switched off the CCTV, switched off the radios, and then when I insisted that since we have come to take over, then can we have a formal written handover takeover? The response was that we don't have time for that, we are busy. We don't have time for documentation. And maybe I should stress that in the whole concession with millions of dollars worth of equipment, ore, and diamonds that were sitting in the vaults. Maybe talking of the ore, this is piles and piles of high-grade conglomerate where the diamonds were actually being retrieved from. So all that has a value. But now we're just being told there can't be a handover takeover. There can't be a written, handover takeover. And maybe talking of the CCTV, the issue there was it had the capacity to store data for more than 3 months. So that means should anything happen within 3 months, you are still able to review what happened. But so by being ordered to switch off, that means you're literally destroying, the possibility of you having an electronic record of what will be happening within the concession. So when I realized that the police were not prepared to take my advice, the mines officials were not prepared to take my advice, I then said, okay, in the absence of a written handover takeover, we can still go ahead and I'll show you what is there. So I took them through the concession and showed them the stockpile, the stockpiles of high-grade conglomerates. I went to each and every XRT, which is actually a self-contained vault on its own. I showed them the top boxes that were there containing the diamonds. And since the police had come at a time when sorting was taking place, and now that the employees had just been told to go out, as we were going into the sort houses, there were cups of diamonds sitting in the glove boxes, which I then took and bent in the presence of mines officials and the police. After that, we locked the XRTs, the police and the mines officials took over the keys. Then I put numbered seals belonging to Mbada on those doors as well, just to make sure that, since I don't have the keys, just to make sure that no one opens, those places. So thereafter, we were then marshaled out of the red zone. I think around 2 or 3 o'clock, I started receiving calls that already vandalism was taking place, thefts were taking place. So I went up the mountain where we have a water reservoir. That point gives you a 360, a bird's eye view of the whole concession. So from that point, I could see groups of people, women, children, the elderly, all coming into the concession from different directions. And you could see some, assisting one another to take off the solar panels for the camera towers. So I went down, advised the police that this is what is happening. And again, no one responded to the information that I was bringing forward. Then the next day, I then got information that the minister was going to be visiting the concession to see what is happening. I think from the news that was coming on the radio, it appeared like already there was chaos in the diamond fields. That was all over the news. So when I heard that the minister was going to be heading a delegation to the mine, I called my core managers together. Then we drafted a brief report highlighting the issues that had happened, the vandalism, the thefts, the concerns about there being no formal handover takeover. We documented all that. And then, because of the tension that was there, I realized that there was a possibility I was not going to have the chance to see the minister. So I gave copies of the document to the other core managers. And then when the plane came in, which was having the minister and his delegation, I proceeded to the airstrip. But before I could go far, I was manhandled by the police and mines officials and told in no uncertain terms that I was not supposed to be at that place, and I was given armed escort to escort me out of the concession. But then that gave the chance to my other team members to mingle with, the other people who were there, and managed to get to Mbada Heights, where the briefing was supposed to take place. And I waited at Hot Springs until my other guys had come out. So when they came out, they indicated to me that they did not have the opportunity to do a verbal brief, but they got the chance to hand over the document to the minister, or to the then Minister of Mines. So my assumption now was, if he got the documents, at least he now has a picture of what is happening. And they also told me that they did a tour of the concession together with the minister. I visited the various places in the mine. And then, so realizing that there was nothing else that we could do with, try to do the level best that we can do. So I then said, okay, guys, we can go home. I'm also going home. So I drove to Harare. On my way to Harare, I received a number of phone calls too. I think I still remember 2 phone calls. One from Assistant Commissioner Mudede, and the other one, I can't remember the name, but it was a mines official who was now saying to me, look, the situation is not good. Can you come back so that at least we can exchange notes and you can advise us on how we can best manage the chaos that is there. Then I said, look, I can't come back now because I wouldn't want to come.
Commissioner General or Assistant Commissioner for Mines Control, are you aware of the Assistant Commissioner's name that is being mentioned?
Definitely honorable chair, it's one of our state commissioners. We can't replace with that.
You see why I said even the...
But honorable chair, I was going to ask me one or two questions to the presenter. He says the 200.
Why did you do that on this mission? How do you
Right. So when they phoned me, I said I cannot come back because I can't take the decision to come back as an individual because I work for a company, and if I'm to come back, then I'll be coming back as the company. So their communication must be directed to the same company that has been driven out. So I said, under those circumstances, I can come back. So then on the evening of that day, I think it was during the 8 o'clock news, I remember seeing the then Minister of Mines giving a brief to the media to say he has been to Chiadzwa and everything that is being said about the chaos there was not true, and to the best of his knowledge, everything is under control, the situation is under control. That was on the news. And that was actually at variance with, what I witnessed on the ground and what I had put in the document that I believe was presented. And then the next day, I got instructions to go and make a report at Marange police station about the cases that I'd witnessed of vandalism. I went to Marange, but the officer in charge could not take the report, indicating that he's under instructions not to take down reports from the mining companies. And then I found it very, very strange, so I had to call back to Harare. And then after some interventions done in Harare, they were able to take the report, I think around 7 at night, when I had actually got to Marange police station around 10 in the morning. So on that day in the morning, I got a phone call from one of the general workers who used to work for Mbada. Apparently, we had left about, I think it was about 150 employees whom the mines officials and the police had requested that we leave behind so that they can assist in terms of running the generators and other critical infrastructure. So one of the guys phoned me and said, the police have been saying there's a box that has been stolen from one of the XRTs. And then when I said, can you give me more details? He said, well, when this report was tabled in the briefing, we were then told to go out and leave only the police in the briefing. So he didn't have many details. So he just said, the minute we heard that a box has been stolen, we were told to leave the room. So I then realized that maybe it's true that a box containing diamonds could have been stolen, but then I couldn't understand how it could get stolen, because at every strong room that we had put some cells, the police had deployed police members on each and every one of those places. So afterwards, I think we did about a week without going back to the mine, because there were court processes taking place. After the court process, I think it should have been on the 27th, when we were told to go back. I went back with my team of about 150 who were denied entry. We came back again. Then there was another second court session, and the judge said that previous order still stands. So we went back again to the mine. It's only at that point that we're then allowed to go in. Then when we went into the concession, I then discussed with Assistant Commissioner Mbada and Assistant Commissioner Dube to say, before I can engage my guys in these security operations for the mine, we need to go through so that I understand what is there, and so that tomorrow I know exactly what the situation was when we came back. So when we went into the red zone, the first thing I realized was there was quite a large crowd of people on the area which we normally term Mbada Ridge, where this high-tech conglomerate originates from. So there were children, women, the elderly, the youths, everything. They were all grouped there, busy, panning and sun, just moving around. And this was about 20, 30 meters away from where the police were, and maybe about 50 meters away from that particular gate again, which was being manned by the police. So I raised a concern to say, why are these people here when we actually have a deployment? And they don't seem to care or to panic even when they see the police officers, which will indicate that maybe this is normal. So I then said at that point, I think we need to mobilize a team and drive these people out. That's when I deployed some of my guys to take over the dogs, to go and collect their dogs, team up with the police, and then drive those partners out. So as we went in, there was signs of damage all over the place. Cameras had been removed or vandalized. Solar panels, some of them had been removed. Some of them vandalized and left on the ground. The stockpiles of conglomerate, the volumes had gone down. And when we got to what we termed the XRT number 5, which was where the missing box was, I realized the doors had been welded into position. Then I said, can we, at least be allowed to see what is happening, what's inside? Or then I was told by Mbada that, this, we don't discuss this. So I never got the chance to see what was inside. Then when checking all the other XRTs, I realized it was the same story. All the doors were welded into position. So there came a time when we received communication from the mines officials that a window period has been opened for us to dispose of whatever diamonds were remaining in the vaults. So I communicated with the head office, and then that's when the mines officials organized a welder to come with a grinding machine, and some grinding was done on the doors and they were opened. Then on XRT number 5, as soon as we went in, as soon as we opened the door, there was a box lying next to the door, open. And according to the setup that I had left there, there was not supposed to be any boxes lying around. So the minute I saw that, I realized something wrong must have happened. And that went on to confirm what I did from that other guy earlier on. So I went in to the strong room, only to realize that where the box was supposed to be on the docking station, everything had been broken and there was no box. And then that's when I realized that could be the box that was there, but already it was empty. And then when I tried to ask what was happening, I was told again, no, we don't discuss this. Then eventually I had to try and find out what was happening. So the only information I managed to establish was that this thing happened on the night of 24, 25.
So just on the point of priority, the personnel that you're dealing with at this point in time, you said was it the police or the Ministry of Mines?
It was a team comprised of police and Ministry of Mines. But when I was talking about the box, I was getting the answer from Assistant Commissioner Mbada. He's the one who would then say, no, we don't want to discuss this.
In the Ministry of Mines, who was actually in the team?
There was one Benaya Mabodza, and I can't remember the other guys, but Benaya Mabodza, he was the one who was saying he's heading that particular team. But from my own assessment, even when we're discussing critical issues. What I picked up was most of the guys that had come in on that particular day were really not senior people. They were people maybe who might say probably low-level employees. They were not senior people because there are certain things that when you discuss with a senior person, you can actually pick out that I'm discussing with a senior person, and these are supposed to be things that make sense to anybody senior. So from where I stand, I could see that the guys that the mines ministry pushed on, especially to the Mbada concession, were probably low-level employees. So when I tried to make my own investigations to find out what might have happened to the box, I realized that the incident might have happened on the night of 24-25. And then, but the official report with CID Minerals in Mtari was 27. It was dated 27. So again, that appeared a bit strange to me to say something, as serious as this can happen 24-25.
So 24-25 of which month, which year?
Of February 2016.
Are we talking about Commissioner General who was also commanding on duty? Thank you.
And then now the report was bearing the date of 27. So then I was saying it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, this is a serious matter, and what really would be the cause for the delay in making an official report? It didn't make sense to me. So I think afterwards, maybe after about a week or two, that's when police officers started coming to me to say they need a statement about those missing diamonds, which statement I did submit to them, and indicating again exactly what I know and what I think might have happened. So during the whole period, I think the line of questioning was, tell us the value of what is missing. In which case I was saying, I can't give a value because normally you only get to give a value when you know exactly the number of carats that are there and the grade. That's when you can possibly attach a value. So in this case,
I'll ask you to just round up because you just made a document which you could sign, which will give a copy to the police and we have a copy. So just try and summarize.
So I think, Honorable Chair, like I've narrated, that's basically what transpired. And but what kind of troubled me a bit was the absence of urgency in trying to conduct investigations. That was one. And the manner in which the whole takeover was done, especially when you look at, because my understanding is normally such things happen at the board level. If there is any changes to be done, those are done at the board level, but you don't come in and, disable the security systems of the same company that you say you want to take over the resources. So when we disable everything and leave everything at the mercy of thieves and, vandalism, we're actually destroying the value of that entity. So in short, we're saying we are taking over an entity that we have literally downgraded from where it was, and to me, it didn't make sense. So I think...
Ask you a few questions.
Yes.
You sound so compensated if you think law. Can you give us your background?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm a former senior officer in the ZRP. I retired 2010 with the rank of superintendent. And I think during that period, I'm
superintendent in charge of operations, admin, crime. Where were you assigned?
The greater part of my service, I was an operations man. Then the lesser part, yes, I did administration, but the greater part was operations. And maybe I should add that I have a number of courses that I've done. For instance, the junior officers command course done by the ZRP. I was the best student in my class. I attended the junior staff course at Zimbabwe Military Academy. At the Zimbabwe Staff College. I've got a BTEC level 4 qualification in security coordination and management. I've got a master's in leadership, and so I think when I talk of what I'm talking about, I'm talking from an informed position.
Lastly, my question to you, in line with the training that you received, I'm sure you also went through Mukoko table.
Yes.
Training. Is this in line with what the police are supposed to do? You went to tomorrow's table, so that was that in order?
I think what is strange, Honorable Chair, is that in situations like this, where there's a senior officer in charge of a team of police officers, you expect him to be to be taking informed decisions and giving reasonable instructions to his team or to a team. But in this particular instance, I found it strange to see a senior officer saying, I'm taking instructions from mines officials. To me, that's not how the police operate. That's not it.
The way the police descended, this is from the mining aspect, the way the police descended on Marangi, the education you received from Mukoko table, was that in line with good practice of the police?
I wouldn't say it's in line with good practice. But again, it's a command issue.
Thank you. Thank you. You will give us that document signed, we'll give a copy to Commissioner General, and we have a copy. All say we're not in which hunting escapade. It's this information that we receive orally, and we don't need to hide anything. It's to just inquire in terms of the government side of this. Commissioner General, you wanted to seek clarity.
Thank you, Chair. I've got 3 questions directed to my former senior officer. One, he talks of a contingent of 200 officers who were deployed in Chiazwa, and the commander was a superintendent, but he's not mentioning of the name. Being a former superintendent, I think you should be aware of the other superintendent.
The name is Marenga.
Thank you.
Are you aware of the name, Eric, in your forces?
It should be Murenga, not Marenga.
Marenga. I think by then she was in deputy.
Fair and fine. The second one is, he was talking of instructions coming from a minister. He's also not mentioning the name.
I think the point was the instructions which were being given were from the minister.
Which minister? Could it be
no,
the man behind me or anyone else?
I think, you answer, but from what I heard is that the officer on the ground, police officer, was receiving instructions from the minister of mines. So I think, do you know who the
Which
minister
minister?
of mines was?
Actually, they didn't mention any names. They were saying we're under instructions from the Minister of Mines.
There is a danger, Honorable Chair, of just blaming certain people. That's why I'm saying, if it was 2000 and so, I would really know that it was Minister so and so. So there's a danger of me approaching a wrong person, and I'll be getting sued for.
Okay, I want to help you, Commissioner General. The way we deal with that danger, he's named the person who was receiving instructions. So we're inviting that person here to then ask the person, who were you taking the instructions from? We are quite thorough, because we don't want hearsay. And who is the person who was taking instructions from the minister who was reporting, who you're asking? Do you know the name?
From what I got, there was Benaya Mabota and Subten Marin.
Okay. So we shall write them so that we have no speculation or anything that is not what happened.
Honorable Chair, my third and last question is, he's talking of a box. It was supposed to be a special box containing what? Diamonds, gold, what was it? And where was this box? Was it in a vault or from some storeroom? Can that be very clear to me?
Okay, can you just clarify that to the Commissioner?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We were talking about a box, the dog box for diamonds, and it was in the stronghold. The one that I called the XRT number 5.
Honorable Chair, once more, so it was a box containing diamonds. And how many carats of diamonds were in the box? Thank you.
Like I indicated earlier on, when you are doing the sorting, we don't weigh each and every recovery that we do. You sort and you bend. The weighing is only done in the presence of the police and mines officials when you are removing the box from the vault for honest transmission to the slaughterhouse in Harare. So since we're not preparing for any movement of the diamonds, there was no weighing done. So from the point of view, I'm not in a position to say exactly how many carats were there.
That is the proper process, Commissioner General.
I'm done.
The question which your answer is, those that went in, did they have the right? That's really where the question is going. What was in is not important. It's the lawful acts which are critical. So we'll not hide away from you. You will get that, and on the day, you'll be given a chance to respond to that according to the Constitution, where you must also protect people's property. I remember you reading that to us. The role of the police is to also protect the property of the people.
Honorable Chair, now that I will be on the 9th, I think, and I want to assure the House that I will be having the answers. Thank you.
Because I was impressed that you also know the officer who was mentioned, you actually did correcting. It's also quite impressive. Commissioner General who knows all his officers, even the way their names are written. So I'm really impressed.
Honorable Chair, like I promised you last time, I'm still investigating, and unfortunately for now I haven't finished the investigations, but by the 9th of April I think I'll be through the investigation. I thank you.
You investigate and you also arrest, and we also assure you that on the night of the end, I thought it was to arrest in order to investigate, but now you are investigating in order to do what? I think that would be. I was hoping that the operations Commissioner General then, if I'm not mistaken, was Matibili, the crime as well. I thought they'd also be here, because some of these issues are operational.
Unfortunately today, Honorable Chair, I'm on my own today with my aide here. The issue here for my appearance was just come here to ask for a summer extension. Coincidentally, unfortunately, I've already extended the time for my investigation. So really, come the 9th of April, I think I'll be ready with all the others. Thank you.
You were very smart today, Commissioner General. You did not say we are not ready. You actually asked for time, saying we got our letters late. You did not say all your command is here. So, Mr. Shane, will you please give me time to get my command here? But anyway, we look forward to seeing you on the 9th of all the parties involved. I'm sure it makes sense why the officer in charge of the area must be here, the district commanding, so that we have clarity to this. And to also, Dr. Chombo, on your lecture to us, I communicated this to the committee. We also found it prudent to also invite the then Minister of Home Affairs, the Vice President Mahadi, Minister of Defense, Sekeramai, and the Minister of State Security, Did Masantas. So it's only proper that they also are here after the good lecture that you gave us. So you can say the committee has got very good students who will listen to it lecture. So that will be our response to it. It's only fair and it's only proper that those ministers who are presiding those ministries are equally here. So we shall be writing to them. Thank you, and yes, Commissioner General.
Honorable Chair, the other time you said, and you really correctly said, we operate on orders. And for my contingent maybe to be in Chiazwa, to be ordered to be in Chiazwa, obviously it was an order coming from somewhere. So it would be very unfair at some point maybe to say who ordered you to do this and that. Can I ask this House to go through the processes and ask the authorities how this came about? Because at the end of the day, it might not be easy for me to say I was ordered by so and so. The authorities, of course, came from above after some various considerations. So can that be verified maybe before the 9th of April, before we come here, so that when I give out information, I will be really sure of what I will be saying? Thank you.
You should actually will pertain to your role as Commissioner General. And the committee has even resolved that the former president will equally come, but he only comes when we have gone through all institutions that he was responsible. For you to know, it's on record that the committee has resolved for the former president to come, but we can only invite him with the information that leads to him being head of state responsible for all institutions. So we are leaving no stone unturned. Thank you. I think if we could get that documentation, Mr. Mukoko, and if it's not done, you must put it properly, sign it, and also give it to the police so that the Commissioner General is able to continue with his investigations. We want to thank you for attending once again. It's not witch hunting we're trying to go through. At times we will miss certain issues and key people. If you know of any, I think it's important for you to also let the committee know of people who are also critical in this, so that we leave no stone unturned. Thank you, and have a great weekend and happy Easter. If I was Commissioner General, I would say to you, drive safely, don't drink and drive. Thank you.
Ah,
Thank you.